So I recently bought myself a Wahoo Kicker Core, and then I also bought a Bluetooth LE heart rate monitor from Wahoo and a cadence sensor. So this is going to be a video where I'm going to see how easy it is to just get the heart rate detected in a C# application. So to start with, just to show you the little device, what I'm going to be doing as we're coding, I'm just going to take the actual sensor, put it around my chest, and then we'll continue as we explore what to do with this in C#. Okay, so let's create a console application. We are going to create a .NET 4.72.2 application. So we're going to call this Quick Bluetooth LE. Oops, can't spell. Quick Bluetooth LE. And then I would like to put it in my projects folder. We're going to create the guy. And while we are creating the guy, so if you go to UWP, Universal Windows Platform Devices, and the Bluetooth Low Energy, there's a lot of reading work to do here. In short, the server is the device, the client's going to be our application. We're going to scroll down a little bit, and one of the first things we'd like to do if we go to Gatt client is to detect nearby devices. So anything that's obviously in range, and we're just going to go there and copy and paste this code. So let's go back here. We can paste this in here, and then what we'd like to do is there's some references that's going to be missing. So if we compile this project, it should give us some errors because there's no references to any libraries that have device watcher in. And what I would like to do, so let's just see, it's just updating the IntelliSense, and we're going to be adding some references. Now it's very simple. Here you will find the System.Runtime.Windows. I think that's the first one we want. Okay, so we only want one of them. And the Windows.MD. Let's just see what happens. I think we only want one of them. Let's see if we can find the references now. Let's see again. There we go. Windows devices enumeration. So we're just adding using clause at the top there. And again, control dot Bluetooth. Super. And then we just want to implement all the event watchers. There we go. There's a whole bunch of events that can fire when things start, stop, when they added, removed or updated, and the stub methods will just throw exceptions when things get found. Let's just see if this thing builds now. Okay, super. And then when it's added, that's when we want to have a look at. So we can just inspect what happens here. The arguments.name. Great stuff. Okay, I'm just going to put a breakpoint here. Let's run it and see what happens. So hopefully we'll get a whole bunch of interruptions here. Okay, so that wasn't very happy. Okay, great. So this is precisely what we expected to happen. So why did it just run and exit? Well, the program started and then exited. So what we need to do is just do a little bit of magic here. So let's just do a while, and we can just do a console.readline or is there a key actually? Read key, yes. And we can just actually say what we want to do here. So we can say press any key to exit. Super. So let's run it again. It should then print out that we're waiting for something, and then hopefully the name here, let's just see what we have. And that is indeed my ticker 2966. So I'm just going to run it and see what else I get. So I only have my ticker, which is, it depends on what Bluetooth devices are active in your environment, but that's great. It's definitely the ticker that I'm interested in, and that's the name of it. I think if you can run it again, there's a variety of ways to access it. So I'm just running it again, and a more accurate way to do this would actually be to build a dictionary based on the actual ID, especially if there's more than one of these things. But it's just the first step. Okay, so let's see what we can do after this. Okay, so in terms of what we'd like to do now is if we look at what's coming in here. So it's device information, and if it's the device we're interested in, so we're just going to do a very simple static device information device, and let's just see if that's happening. Yes, that will be my device. I'm going to make it null to start with, and what we will do here, and we'll just do a test in there because there may be more than one device. So let's just run this again, and we'll do our if statement. So like I say, there's a variety of ways to do this. We can actually look at this value, which is probably the simplest, and because this is just a quick tutorial, we could just say if args.name equals, let's just copy this name in. Okay, so if it is the ticker, then please add it to, or set the device to reference it. Great stuff. And we've got the device. Now the device, if we look at the documentation, which is the next step. So once we've got the device, we actually want to connect to the device, and then we have, once we've connected or paired with the device, we want to actually look at all the services and characteristics. So, and then how do we actually get a value or continuous values from the device, like my heartbeat is what we're after here. And that will be subscribing for notifications. So you just look at the documentation, and let's do the pairing next. So now once the device has been found, so the device we are looking for, to pair with it is going to be something like this. So we're going to take the Bluetooth LE device, and we're going to use the ID that we got there to connect to it. So that is relatively simple, and we would like to just use this line of code. Let's just go back to the application. So what we're going to do, so we're going to go back here, and what we'd like to do is, before we actually allow someone to press a key, so it could be any key that they're pressing, we first want to make sure that the device was found. So this device, if it's null, So if the device is null, then we're just going to do a thread.sleep. And we're just going to sleep for 200 milliseconds. So let's just see if this actually does what I wanted to do. So while we're waiting for the devices to be added, we're just going to wait. And once it's found, then we're going to say the message, press any key to pair with ticker. Wahoo ticker. Okay, so let's see if that works. So we're just going to run the application again. Indeed, we're going to write it out. And then it'll give us our message. So it'll display that it found the device, and then it will allow us to press a key, and then we can connect to the device. So let's just go back here, and then we obviously want to, in here, actually connect to the device. So this device ID device info.id is what we have in here. So the device, the ID of the device will be from here. So let's just see. Let's just do that. Okie dokie. And we'll just have a look at what we want to do next. So here it'll probably be unhappy because there's no async method for the standard template. So you can just make this an async task, and great stuff. Then it's going to pair with the device, and once it's paired, let's just have a look back at the documentation. Obviously, we can dispose of the device when the application finishes. We're not going to look at that right now. And once we've paired, what we'd like to do is just look at all the services that we potentially can get there. So let's just go to the next step. We'll get the services. That's in another namespace. Okay. Great stuff. And then for each service, okay, so I think the device ID, UUID, is the one we may be looking for, and we'll have a look at that in a second. So let's put breakpoints here, and then we run it again. So I'm going to run the application. I think we can take this breakpoint off. Okay, so then we press a key. It will hopefully pair. We wait for the services. Great stuff. What's the status? Successful. And then there's a whole bunch of services that it should print out. Great stuff. And it's these numbers that we're going to be looking at. So I'm just going to write them all out. And this is what's really awesome about what we've just done. We've enumerated all the devices, the device that we've been looking for. We enumerate all the devices, we find the ticker core, and these are all the Gatt services that's listed there. And what we are interested in is now which one of these ones is going to give us a heart rate. And we'll have a look at the documentation. How do we actually find which one? And it's this one. It's this 00000180D, and these are GUIDs. It's a unique identifier of the service. And then how do we actually get the value continuously from this? So how do we subscribe to a value here? So we're going to change the application slightly, because once we're done here, I would like to do another at the end of all this stuff. So let's just go here. Break. And so we'll just break out of the loop. Let's just test that. Okay. Let's just see if this works. Ah, wait, that was a bit fast. Let's just try again. Press a key. It's going to now pair with the device. Maybe we can write that out, and if we press another key, it exits the application. Okay, so let's just write out what we're doing. Pairing succeeded. And let's just run this again, because this will be a little bit nicer if we want to see what's going on here. So it will find the ticker. We'll press our key. It's going to attempt to pair with the ticker. Succeeded. It's going to list all the services. And then we're going to have a quick look at how do we actually get data from this guy. So that is the next step. So once we know which service, and let's just open the website for that. Okay, so in terms of our application, so our list of services that was reported here. Now, which one are we looking for? So we're going to go to the Bluetooth.com specifications, assigned numbers, and we're going to look at this UUIDs. And this is a heart rate monitor. So can't spell heart rate. Okay, so heart rate measurement. Just want to see which one it is that I'm after. Yes, it's this Gatt service heart rate. So it's the 180D, and it's definitely the Gatt service. So you can look at the characteristics. So we want to definitely just scroll down like we were to the services, because that's where we are. And the service is this 0816D. So if we debug the application and we look at this UUID here, and it is going to be the last one. So we're just going to run it quickly. Let's just stop and start again. There we go. So it's found the ticker. We're going to pair with it. Once it's paired, it'll list the services. Okay, it wasn't successful. Let's just try again. pair with this device. And we're going to be looking at this UID. So I think the thing is, if we go service.uid.toString, I think it's this one. Let's just see. Okie dokie. And then it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, and then it's that. So if we look back at the, so it's 180D. Let's just run it a couple more times. Sorry, there we go. So we want this 180D guy. So that's the one we're looking for. So we're looking for a specific service. So if the service.uid.toString, and we're just wanting the numbers, .substring, I think it's the fourth one, and we want 4 of them, equals my heart rate service ID, and we'd like to define it. So we don't need a property, we can just have a, and that needs to be 180D, and we'll see in a second if we get that, if the cases match. Great stuff. So if we have the match, then we can just say found heart rate service, and I'm just going to break the application there, just a breakpoint, and we're going to quickly test it. Okay, attempting to pair with devices. Let's see if it finds it. Okay, and we can just see what this is actually. Yes, and we run it again, and we run it again, and 180A, and we want to make it a small letter, so let's just change that here. And if we run it again, it should find it. Okay. So we're going to pair, and we found the heart rate service. Great stuff. Now, what we'd like to do is actually get the heart rate value. So we're back to our documentation. We've got the service. We then want to look at the characteristics. So let's just copy this. Great stuff. So we've got our service, we've got the result, we've got, okay, the result's already there, so that's characteristic result. Yes. There's all the characteristics, and just let's see do a for each. For each characteristic in characteristics. Let's just quickly write it out. Okay, let's have a look at what we find in characteristics. So we can trace space. It's going to attempt to pair. And I think because I haven't been closing so we're going to have to clean up the application a bit nicer because it's going to be unhappy with me not cleaning up. We're going to do that in a moment. Okay. So it is a generic attribute profile. Okay, that's fine. Let's have a look at what it says here. We want to look at all the properties and we want to subscribe to one. So yes, I think we want to still do this. Let's just copy and paste this. So if the property has got a notify, if it's a notify property, we can just ignore all the other properties. And that's fine. So we get all the properties. If there's a notify property, we can just say notify property found. Let's just see if it finds that. And then what we can do is maybe just stop the device when we done here. Let's do that. Okay, so now we're going to run the application again. I'm going to press a button. Okay, so we have a property. We have a notify property, the characteristic. Let's have a look at that. It has its own UID of 2A37, and we are going to be looking at how to actually then get the value here. So now let's just have a look at what we can do with a property. So property properties, yes. I think that is not quite what I expected. Properties, notify, that's fine. Subscribe for notifications. Okay, so we need to tell it that we want to subscribe to the notifications. Okay. characteristic we are interested in is this one. Yes, succeeded. Then if it succeeded, we just want to do the value changed. Now there may be some challenges with this, and we're going to have a look at that in a second. So we're just going to generate a method for it, and if we're back here, we're just going to follow the pattern here that's been given to us. Okie dokie. And let's just see what we get. Doesn't like that. So the data reader needs to be included. I need to put a semicolon there. And let's just see what happens if we run this. Okay, so our application has started. We're going to attempt to pair to the device. And we found the property. And it is going to read a lot of values. So let's just actually do something with that value. Okay, so I'll link to the following document as well. This is another document on heart rate sensors. What you'll see here if you go to about page 25 is that the value is 16 bits. Okay, it could be more, but if you look at the heart rate measurement, which is that UUID that we found there, can be anything from 16 bits to 56 bits, and it also depends on what you are measuring. So let's just have a look if we read 16 bits or 2 bytes from our application. So reader dot. So now if we read this Uuid16, let's just see what we get. Okay, and then we can just print out the value. And let's just see what we get there. And we'll see now to refine this, because once you have the value, what should happen is, so it's going to connect to the device. And this looks like what we want, but there's 2 sections to this. Now we're going to stop it, go back to this document, and what you will find is that there's 2 bytes. Let's just see where that is. Great stuff. So here it says the length of the heart rate measurement is 16 bits in this example. The first 8 bits define the flags, and the second 8 bits the additional measurement value. So let's just do exactly that. So then instead of that, we can say read byte, and this should be flags, and we'll see now. And the value, and we can just print it out. Okie dokie, so let's just see what it gets now. So for this particular device, it's as simple as finding that, and there we go. So that 76 is indeed what I find on my phone as well. So my heart rate is around 80, depending on how deep and slow I breathe. And that is how you get very quick and dirty little application to read Bluetooth LE and to read the specific device's measurement and subscribe to a notification. Well, I hope you enjoyed this content. If you enjoyed the content, please subscribe to the channel, click the bell for notifications so that when I bring out more videos that you can be notified. I plan to make another video that will just extract the functionality into a little service or library where we can use it in other applications, and then I'm also going to use my cadence sensor and just write an application that displays both the heart rate information and the cadence in the next video, and clean up the code a little bit.